God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Joseph R. Biden, now the 46th President of the United States of America.
The duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
In a historic ceremony in front of a field of flags down the National Mall, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris took their oaths of office.
I am so excited. As you can see, my face just lit up a little bit.
And the first female vice president in U.S. history, giving young leaders hope for the future here in the Inland Northwest.
And we can make America once again the leading force for good in the world.
President Biden's work in the Oval Office begins right away as he begins his first 100 days in office.
Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this. They're uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause.
Tonight, America is welcoming a new president. President Joe Biden called for unity after being sworn in. In his 21-minute inauguration address today, Biden outlined an optimistic view of the future and called for Americans to unify around common goals for our nation. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Whitney Ward. In attendance today were former presidents Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama. Predecessor Donald Trump, though, was not in attendance. We do have a live report tonight from Capitol Hill. Here's Natalie Brand.
And right now, President Biden and Vice President Harris are taking part in a special primetime celebration, partly in person but largely virtual. This has been an inauguration day like no other, scaled back, surrounded by unprecedented security, but that has not taken away from the tradition or significance.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
After taking the oath of office, President Joseph R. Biden declared democracy has prevailed.
I will be a president for all Americans. All Americans.
Former presidents Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton were on hand for the transfer of power, as well as outgoing Vice President Mike Pence.
So help me God. So help me God.
Pence's successor, Kamala Harris, made history, becoming not only the first woman, but the first black person and first person of South Asian descent to become vice president. Speaking at the Capitol just 2 weeks after rioters stormed the building, the 46th president said unity is the only path forward.
My whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause.
While today was steeped in tradition, only a small, socially distanced group attended the ceremony because of the coronavirus pandemic and increased security concerns.
The National Mall, usually crowded with supporters, was instead filled with flags. On stage, an array of star power.
What's so proudly we hail.
Later, President Biden and Vice President Harris attended a wreath laying at Arlington National Cemetery. They also walked along Pennsylvania Avenue with their families in an otherwise mostly virtual inaugural parade. Former President Trump made an early exit, skipping the inaugural ceremony, but he did leave a letter for his successor.
President wrote a very generous letter. It's because it was private. I will not talk about it until I talk to him.
Inside the Oval Office, President Biden signed a series of executive actions addressing topics from the pandemic to climate change.
Back here on Capitol Hill, the Senate voted this evening to confirm President Biden's pick, Avril Haines, to lead the intelligence community, Director of National Intelligence, and she will be the first woman to hold that job. Live in Washington, I'm Natalie Brand. Back to you.
Natalie, thank you very much. As we just heard, history was made when Kamala Harris raised her hand to take the oath of office, becoming the first woman and person of color to serve as vice president.
The duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So the former U.S. Senator from California is now the highest ranking woman ever to serve in U.S. government. After being sworn in as vice president, she carried on the tradition of escorting out and saying goodbye to the previous vice president. Harris, along with the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, escorted out Vice President Pence and Second Lady Karen.
Today, President Biden signed more than a dozen executive actions, some of those directly reverse decisions made by former President Donald Trump. Here are some of the decisions included in those actions: a nationwide mask and social distancing mandate in federal buildings, a continued pause on student loan payments until September 30th, and a stop on border wall construction.
Also, he ended travel restrictions that have focused on majority Muslim countries. He also ended the Keystone XL pipeline and says that the U.S. will now rejoin the World Health Organization. President Biden also called on Congress to grant a permanent path to citizenship for undocumented people who came to the U.S. as children.
President Biden said that former President Trump left him a letter that was, quote, very generous.
Now, the inauguration was also star-studded with its musical performances. As you saw, pop star Lady Gaga performing the national anthem. That was before President Biden was officially sworn in. Take a listen.
Jennifer Lopez and Garth Brooks also delivered musical performances. Garth Brooks also performed at President Obama's inauguration back in 2009.
I think just being here in D.C. in the proximity of history-making event is just wonderful.
Today's historic inauguration was also a national special security event, contending with both pandemic concerns and the possibility of potentially violent protests. That woman you just heard from had traveled all the way from Arkansas for this day, with boarded up businesses, guarded checkpoints, and armed forces on display. This inauguration day looking very different than it has in the past here in this country. The heavy security presence also included 25,000 National Guard members, and police in Washington, D.C. reported no arrests, though, as of this afternoon.
Today, Washington Governor Jay Inslee released a statement following the inauguration of President Joe Biden. In it, Governor Inslee congratulated the president. The statement reads in part, "We have two things to sustain our nation this morning from our new president. First, disagreement cannot lead to disunion. And second, we will get through this together."
And Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers took to Twitter to wish President Joe Biden success, saying, "We have many immediate challenges ahead to beat this pandemic, save lives with the vaccine, and reopen the economy. To achieve those goals," she says, "it's my hope we can work in a bipartisan way and advance solutions that will uphold the Constitution and empower people with the courage to dream again."
All right, let's pause from the headlines to talk weather for a moment. We have seen a calm, sunny week, but we'll be heading into a much colder temperatures as we head toward the weekend.
Yeah, the question is that actually going to mean snow? Because we know January has not brought much in that regard so far, right, Thomas?
Nope, just 0.1 inch of snow this month. Not much.
Not at all.
Not at all.
We've had a lot more rain and a lot more warm temperatures, which has been very anti-La Nina. And trust me, it's not just here in the inland Northwest and in Spokane. In fact, most of the northern tier of the nation is kind of saying the same thing. But I think we might take that turn back to more normal January temperatures later on this week. Check out the cameras from this morning. That was the foggy view right in the heart of downtown Spokane along I-90 from this morning. We'll be on fog watch yet again for tonight. Let's take a look at a live camera over Snoqualmie Pass. Noted a little bit of fog within the last hour. Doesn't look terribly bad at the moment, but the roads seem like they are a little bit greasy, if anything else, at least from that camera view. As we look at Doppler radar, notice how there are a few radar returns near the Pendleton, Oregon area. A little bit of excess moisture just kind of lingering over southern Washington and northern Oregon as of right now. That could actually translate to a chance of snow in some of our southern areas by the time we get to tomorrow. What is going to be a rather cloudy day. Overall, high temperatures only topping out in the mid-30s, I think the mid-afternoon. Best chance to get outside in Spokane. We are not expecting any precipitation in Spokane, but I am tracking who does have the best chance for snow tomorrow and what it's looking like for this upcoming weekend in terms of our snow chances.
All right, Thomas, we'll talk to you then. Thank you very much. Still to come here on KREM News at 6 tonight, we are learning more about how people ages 65 and older can get their first dose of the coronavirus vaccine.
There's doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason as to where to go and to look for the shot.
Tonight, we are asking the tough questions. Why are so many people waiting on the coronavirus vaccine? And what are our local leaders doing about it? Their answers are coming up. Before we head to break, though, Jennifer Lopez performed America the Beautiful at today's inauguration ceremony. Take a listen. We'll be right back.